Today, we discuss a matter of great significance that has captured the attention of nations far and wide, a matter that holds in its very essence the potential to reshape our geopolitical landscape in the Pacific region. I'm sure you've been following the recent events concerning the Solomon Islands, China, the United States, and other allies like Australia, New Zealand, India, and NATO. The question at hand is one that affects us all. In what direction does the Pacific tilt, and what are the regional ramifications of the Solomon Islands' new relationship with China? Let's begin by taking a closer look at the situation. Recently, the Solomon Islands entered into a security deal with China, a move that has caused concern among regional and international players, including the United States and Australia. But what does this deal really mean? What are the underlying implications? And what does it signify for the broader peace and security of our region? Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. Please subscribe, like, and comment to boost our videos. Now, let's begin. Could this agreement between the Solomon Islands and China be perceived as a threat to the Pacific region's peace? Is the Solomon Islands' decision to enhance the capability of its 1,500 police officers in cybersecurity and community policing, with China's support, really a danger to the peace and security of the region? Or is it simply a sovereign nation broadening its security partnerships? These are questions we must ponder deeply. The Solomon Islands has denied allegations that this policing deal is a threat, and the government asserts that Chinese police support will only supplement the existing support from Australia and New Zealand. But can we afford to ignore the underlying geopolitical currents? No one has a monopoly of knowledge, as the statement from the Solomon Islands government said. True indeed, but we must also recognize that policing in democratic nations differs from that in communist regimes. The compatibility of Chinese and Pacific policing is something we need to examine closely, and it's a concern that has been echoed by many. Now let us turn our attention to the United States' stance on this issue. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Ambassador Daniel Kritenbrink, has voiced the United States' concerns about the agreement's potential regional security implications. The possibility of China establishing a military base in the Solomon Islands has not been ruled out by the United States, and such an act would understandably lead to significant concerns. This situation prompts us to ask, where does the line of sovereignty end, and where does the responsibility of international allies begin? How can we ensure that the decisions made by individual nations do not jeopardize the security and stability of an entire region? Australia's stance, aligned with that of the United States, is clear as well. The Defense Minister's alarming declaration that Australia should prepare for war underscores the gravity of the situation. Is this mere rhetoric, or are we on the brink of a new era that calls for heightened vigilance? I think it is vital for us to remember that we do know China's military ambitions are far-reaching. The People's Republic of China is indeed seeking to project and sustain military power at greater distances. The question that looms large is, how should we respond? As we reflect on these questions, let us also not forget the people of the Solomon Islands, a nation of 700,000, spread across an archipelago with a strategic position in the Pacific. Their internal affairs, too, have faced challenges, with riots exposing gaps in policing. Ladies and gentlemen, the choices we make today have long-lasting effects. The Solomon Islands' alignment with China or the U.S. is not simply a matter of picking sides, but a decision that echoes across the Pacific and resonates with nations far beyond. Are we at a crossroads? How should we, as responsible global citizens, act and react? The decisions we make today will shape our tomorrow, and we must tread this path with wisdom, foresight, and a deep sense of responsibility. As we move forward, let's delve into some of the historical, strategic, and moral aspects that underlie the current situation. The Solomon Islands holds a special place in history, pivotal to the U.S. movement west to liberate the Philippines in World War II. Its geographical location has made it strategically significant in the past and continues to do so today. So why, one might ask, does this seemingly small shift in alignment carry such weight? what makes this a matter that has roused the concern and attention of powers such as the United States and Australia, first, let us consider the very fabric of sovereignty, which is at the heart of this issue. When a sovereign nation chooses to establish new alliances or accept assistance, what right do others have to question that decision? Isn't it within the right of the Solomon Islands to seek support that aligns with its interests and needs? However, it's not that simple. International relations are an intricate web where actions in one part of the world reverberate across the entire globe. This is a truth we cannot ignore. Does the Solomon Islands agreement with China on policing deal only with domestic matters, or does it carry implications that stretch across the Pacific? This is the crux of the concern voiced by the U.S. and Australia. Can we afford to view these events in isolation, or must we recognize that they are part of a broader pattern of change in the region? We should consider the potential clash of interests that opposition leader Matthew Whale has warned about. As he stated, our fear is that in the near future, China's interest will clash with U.S. influence and strategic interests in the region, and we are right in the middle of it all. What does this mean for nations caught in this tug of war? How do we navigate the delicate balance of power without jeopardizing peace and stability? It is in this context that we must analyze the Solomon Islands' recent announcement that Australia's security treaty would be reviewed. What could this mean for the region's dynamics? How might other countries respond? Secondly, we must consider the issue of transparency. The details of the security deal between China and the Solomon Islands have not been made public. A draft leaked on social media contained provisions for China to make ship visits and carry out logistical replenishment in the Solomon Islands. If a nation's agreements with foreign powers are shrouded in secrecy, can the international community trust that they are in the best interest of regional stability? Does this not fuel suspicion and uncertainty? Furthermore, how do we address the compatibility of Chinese and Pacific policing practices? The issue is not merely the supply of security equipment, but the alignment of values and the assurance that these tools are used with respect for human rights and due process. And lastly, let's reflect on the moral responsibilities we all hold as nations and global citizens. The U.S. has stated that it is not in the business of asking countries to choose sides. But how true is this, really? Are we not all, in one way or another, caught in a web of influence and alliances? So I pose these questions to you, my esteemed audience. How do we foster a climate of openness and trust among nations? How do we ensure that the choices made by individual countries do not compromise the stability of a region, or even the world? We find ourselves in complex times, facing challenges that demand collaboration, understanding, and, above all, wisdom. We must be careful not to let rhetoric drive us toward conflict. Instead, let's embrace dialogue, empathy, and a shared vision for peace. Let us remember that the Pacific is not just a theater of geopolitics. It is home to vibrant cultures, breathtaking landscapes, and people with dreams, hopes, and aspirations. In our pursuit of security and stability, let us never lose sight of our shared humanity. If this story intrigues you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.